Alright everybody, let's tear this thing down. This is my first video. We got a ton of different videos on this channel. I've already got some of the side pieces pulled off that you should already be able to do if you're going to attempt this. So we're going to start with the clutch. Snap that together. Now remember, this is backwards thread or left-handed thread, I believe, so you're going to be going clockwise to get this to go off with a small impact. Give it a couple bumps, it'll come right off. Screw that, take that bad boy off. Slide your sprocket off, put those together, take your bearing. Always do an inspection. If you're doing a rebuild and your saw is really old, you should probably just replace this. But I'll pull down the magnifying glass, take a look. I'm doing this for one of my friends, so he's definitely getting a new bearing. But we'll take a look. This bearing's actually not too bad. Doesn't look too bad. Sometimes you gotta clean it to really be able to look. Sorry that you didn't get to see that, but that's how it goes. Okay, what are we gonna do next? There's a multiple directions you can go on this. And we'll go ahead. We're gonna take this top screw out because we want to get this plastic piece out. Yeah, take the right OB. Sometimes I get the wrong size. Keep your screws together. This is a screw that screws into plastic. You can tell by the coarser threads versus the machine thread screw. This is, let's go ahead and take the handle apart. We're going to take this whole saw apart. We'll take this handle apart. A couple screws there, a couple screws there. Pop that bad boy up. Come on. There we go. Now, if it's your first time doing this, take some pictures if you need to. I don't really need to, and my reassembly is going to be as if this was in a box. So, I'm going to take that off. This piece here has a spring attached to it. See that spring on there? You keep an eye on that. It's going to be one of the harder parts when you pull it out of a box of just stuff. Here we're going to have two screws. We're going to have one in the handle. This is a heavy duty screw. It's much bigger than all the other screws for the saw. I thought it was all the way out. Sure does. Look at that thing's wobbling around. Get out of there. Shake you out of there. What? Making me look stupid on camera. Okay. Come on. A little turn, maybe get my finger out. There we go. Alright. Let's get this mount. This is an anti-vibration front mount. Now that that's all loose, you can pull this handle off. It's going to be snug. Be careful. I stretched the daylights out of it, but that's okay. It's a spring. Next is going to be your electronics, your carburetor. I like to take the carb up. Like I said, there's a bunch of different ways you can do this. I'm going to go to the back here. It's a little tricky. I'm trying to hold it up so you guys can see it. You've got your venting and you've got your primer bulb. Take your primer bulb, push your tabs in, and at the same time push it out. I don't suggest you use a pick like me. I suggest you use something flat. You're going to have to pull that sucker out. It'll come out, and then you just squeeze it, and it'll go flying across the bench. All right. You should be able to grab your carburetor at this point because we've already taken the air filter off and the shroud for it off. Try to keep my blanket, try to keep it so you can see. Alright. I should have left that screw in there. I took that off. Some of this stuff is spliced out. It's my first video. So pull this out. When you get it out, you'll notice you got to turn it at the right angle and you'll just slide that right off. Alright, now that's off. It's got the vent still attached to it. We'll take that off in a minute. But when you look at this linkage, it should lay flat in there. And we're going to go ahead and pull that bad boy out. Take a little wiggling around. Sometimes you can get it out the front. Sometimes it comes out the back. Just pull it out. You're going to have to put it back together either way. Yep. There we go. Alright. Set that aside. Sometimes if you like to, put it back together so you know which direction it goes. I'm not really worried about that. Next, you want to grab these hoses back here. The main one that you can't see because it's kind of dark. Just push that sucker out. Then you have two more. That one was ripped. Our intake was bad. Best way to do these is spray them with a little silicone and grab it by the very back. You can't see it. Grab it by the back and kind of pulled it through. And go ahead. I'm going to take my pick and I'm going to pop out my grounds for my kill switch. Which on this saw, the wires were actually bad. I just repaired them. I didn't have time to order and wait for parts. Saw's been here for a while. I just fixed this saw. Just did a service to it and a starter, so that's why it's so clean. But we've got a torn intake boot. I didn't start it last time because it wasn't here for that, and it doesn't run. Alright, now let's get reorganized here. When you pull this cover off, don't rip on it. This piece comes over, not under, over. And then you just push these tabs in, easy so you don't bend them up, so it goes back together nice. And of course for the video I'm going to have to struggle with this piece, but you know. Go along the edge and just pull it out of there. Just your little shield basically. You got your lines. On a rebuild you don't have to pull this line. You do have to slide this back and go ahead and take your pulse line off. Set that aside. You got the carburetor, we'll set that over here. Peel this off, that's your gasket if you want to call it that. And then we're down to the intake. I'm going to take our intake boot. On yours there should still be a boot here. These screws are always really tight. So when you go back together and you come apart, just remember you're not stripping it most likely. They're just really tight. I don't know why, but they always are. So we're going to have to up our power here. Where am I at? This give me my bits. Alright. It's like 87 degrees in the container right now, so it's pretty hot in the shop. Once we get past this little brain function, don't worry, that Ryobi will be fine. Beat my stuff up all the time. I really like Ryobi. See that? Screws are tight. Save these screws. These screws you need to put back in this spot. Don't switch these with any other screws. These are machine thread screws. They're going into the cylinder. Go ahead and get in there and pop your intake off. My intake's gone. And then normally I would put these back in my intake and try to keep them with it. I don't have to because I know them all because I've done so many of these, but it's a good thing to do. There's your ground wire to the coil. Let's go ahead and we gotta get this mount, we gotta get the spark plug. Let's go ahead and take our rear mount out. It's gonna have a 27, which is actually a motor mount as well. And it's gonna have a small, I think 25 is what it is. That's not it. Is that it? I don't know, we'll find out. I'm just doing the voiceover. I guess it wasn't. That's close enough. Stick it in there. Come on. Alright, we're going to go to something else. I don't have that on my bench. This is 27. We'll pop that bad boy off. Let's get rid of the long one. Just grab ourselves. Make sure you're using the right one. If you use a 25, you'll strip these out. If you put a 27 in there, it doesn't seem to fit. Get your pick in there and make sure it's clean. I'll take a look at it under the microscope because my eyes suck. And there we go. We'll pop that bad boy out. You like that little trim mark, don't you? Alright, put this thing aside. Let's go ahead and pop this one off. We got the smaller Torx on there. Keep those together if you can. Alright. Down here I want you to pop this out. There's a little slot. Pop that up. Pop this out. And just gotta lift up under. Over here it's gonna be like there's a little slot it slides into. You gotta pop it out. See how it's like down in there? And it's kind of a weird angle. So just pop that out and it'll come out. This one's dirty. I gotta put it in the cleaning pile because I'm gonna re-clean this. My customers get back this shiny saw. See where I've already cleaned it before. Go ahead and pull your oil gear off. Oil drive gear. Come on, oil drive gear. These shouldn't be too tight. You should be able to wiggle that off. Sometimes they're burnt up. You can do an inspection. I always look down in the oil pump and see if the oil pump is full of debris and it's really bad. I suggest the customer replaces it, both pieces. You're going to want to go ahead and work these lines off. Again, I don't suggest you use a pick. I'm using a pick. Leave the screw in. And you take this bottom one off because it's going to move around a bunch. Makes it a little easier. As long as you get it off, you're good. I'm going to go ahead and grab my flat screwdriver and push that bad boy off. Trying to get in there so you guys can see it. I like to take a Q-tip, strip some of the cotton off of it. I couldn't break it. Too flexible. And go ahead and stick it in that fuel line. Sorry, oil line. I got these fat fingers holding this little greasy tube. Isn't easy. Yeah, we can put that in there. We're going to cut that bad boy off. I had to go to the toolbox to get my dikes. Alright. So where are we at? Alright, we're going to slide this bottom one off. We're going to do the same thing. Get that bad boy off. Grab another Q-tip. Cotton swab. Whatever you want to call this thing. And I pulled all the cotton off like an idiot. Alright, let's try it again. It's got two sides. Get in there! Alright, that's good. What? Didn't feel right. I don't want to stretch it out too much. Alright, it's good enough. Cut it off. Let's get moving. There we go. Taking out the second motor mount. This is the one where your kill switch is. These things go bad if you're having problems with your soft starting. Loctite this thing in there. Do not over tighten it. I feel like Stihl has problems with this. People over tightening it. I'm going to go ahead and pull our oil pump out. Oil pump screw. Oil pump should just lift right out. I'll clean this real good. Yours is going to be dirty and disgusting, but because I just did this saw, it's clean. I'm going to put this guy back in for now. I actually took that out kind of by accident. I want to keep it in there for now. When we flip it over, we're going to go ahead and pop this guy out. Try not to ruin it. You have to get down on the lip and try to catch that spring-like device they got inside there. Get that out of the way. Gonna have to go to my toolbox. So here comes the trim. There we go. Look at that. Finger tight. Get that out of the way. Alright, what do we got left here? Oh, we got a coil. So the coil's going to come out with the motor, though. But we got to get it loose. And we want to pull the plastic mounting bracket off behind it. So go ahead and pop off your ground. Or your kill switch, whatever you want to call it. Get it out of the way. Got two screws here. These two screws are going to have washers on them. I believe these are the two with washers. And pull them out. You see they got washers. They're like the only screws on here that got washers. So you should be able to remember that. Go ahead and lift your coil out. Get this plastic piece out of the way. That's what we were looking for. That's pretty much everything on the saw that you need to take off to be able to slide the motor out at this point. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to take this bottom mount out. Take the top mount out. You see the motor drop. This top bolt is totally stripped. There's aluminum all over it. It looks horrible. That's where your ground is here. Go ahead and disconnect this ground. Pop that ring out that clips it to it. You'll see this one's filthy dirty from all the aluminum and junk that was coming out of there because I don't know if they over tightened it or what happened, but it's nasty. I'm going to have to put that on the bench grinder to get that bolt clean because it's not going to hold the way it is. I'm going to put it in the clean pile. Normally you can just wiggle this thing around and it'll come right out. Right here on the intake, you got to watch it. Kind of gets bound up sometimes. And you want to make sure the coil's kind of coming out. Make sure your boot is out of the way of the housing and stuff. It should just pop right out. But because we're doing a video, it will probably be a little pain in the... Trying to do this so you guys can see it. It's kind of hard to pull it this way. I personally like to flip it over and kind of let it fall out the bottom. You know, I'm wrinkling my towel up and stuff. Here we go. The coil's loose. You got to make sure. And go ahead and put it over. If it seems, there it goes. Get a little pop on it. Go ahead. This side needs to go forward a hair. So I'm going to bring it back up. There it is. And there's our housing. Ooh, look at that. Still got some dirt in there from when I cleaned it before. It's got a little rash in here from when that top bolt came loose. And we're going to clean all that. So now we got our motor. Let's go ahead and pull the coil. Coil's got this piece on it that goes in the fins, which you'll find out on the reassemble. This motor's spinning freely, but when I looked at the piston, it didn't look good. When I pulled the saw to start it, I knew. Can't really see it, but I'm trying. It's got scratches. It's pretty rough. So, get this out of the way. My long T27. Where's it at? There it is. Let's just, these bolts, when you do a new top end, will not be needed. Use the bolts that came with it. These bolts can stretch if there's been too much heat or they've been over torqued. So go ahead and pull them out. You can save them, throw them in your toolbox, use them in your slingshot, whatever you want. Get those out of there. Get this out of the way. That one stuck to the flywheel? Yep, I gotta get that out of the way. Ta-da! There we go. I'm gonna pretend like I'm showing you what's going on. Sometimes you can reuse the base gasket. It just depends. Yeah. The piston's not looking so hot now, is it? Pretty. Skirt's not too bad. Let's get this bad boy up and flip it over. So we've got two clips on this thing, one on each side. We only have to take one clip off. There's going to be one side. You'll see it has a little divot on it. This is going to be hard to do because I'm trying to show you guys this. Sometimes I'll use the cylinder if you can get it just right. You'll see there's a little divot. Once you get under it with your pick, put your finger over it. Try not to overbend this because, believe it or not, you'll lose these. I never like to reuse these, but I like to have them in the shop in case I do. As long as you don't bend it too bad getting it out. And there it is. Still good. And we're going to go ahead and set our cylinder aside. You can get a screwdriver or something. Just kind of tap on it real lightly and it should slide out. If yours has been overheated, it might be tougher to get out. A 1/4 inch may be required to drive it out. 1/4 inch extension is what I normally use. You can see there's some corrosion down in here. From last time it was washed. The intake had a rip in it. It was getting water in it. Apparently they cleaned it, didn't start it last time, but heat killed this from the rip in the Hey guys, thanks for watching my channel. If you want to make a donation, that would be great. I have these bars of soap. I'd rather you get something. They're all natural. They're great. This first one I'm weighing here is 5 ounces. That's roughly what they are. It is cherry almond. These 3 in front are my top sellers. Lemongrass is in the top 5 too. That's the activated charcoal that I'm doing here. These bars are awesome. I got tropical teak wood and pumpkin. I like the pumpkin. This one's the pumpkin. Let's weigh that sucker. These people are so consistent that I get it from, and they live close by. It's all natural. I love it. This is my eucalyptus spearmint, and this one bar looks kind of small. Let's open it up. Let's try it. I love this one, eucalyptus camphor. It's a little tingly. It feels good. It's a hair on the light side. I can't really tell. Did we move the scale on that one? Let's push it down. There we go. Push it down. Yeah, it comes up a little bit, so it still makes weight. Peppermint, my best seller, guys. Men love this. That sucker's heavy. If you're using a lot of degreaser and stuff, and you want a bar of soap to wash in between when you're not really heavy, this one's coffee cream. It's made of goat milk. It's really good. It will really help your hands. They won't be dry when you're done. You can use this in between. It's not going to take off axle grease and stuff like that, but it's good in between those. I would highly suggest that. We'll have an eBay link below. Alright guys, thanks for watching my cheesy little commercial, but you'll love the soap. Alright, so next up, we need our new wrist pin, and we're going to put this one in the one on either side, really will do. I like to take my needle nose and kind of line that up, kind of get it down in there enough, just enough where it's just past your groove down in there. Okay, and then the next thing you want to do is make sure it's in there. Try to make it so you can see this. It's going to be tough. Let me get it down in there a little bit more. I know, a little bit more. If you don't get this right, it's going to fly out. So we're going to cover it with our finger when we do this. I'm going to go ahead and take my pick. I got one little spot I needed to push down. I'm going to keep my finger over it on the back side. We're going to grab our wrist pin. We're going to push that through. Nice and easy. Preferably with something that's not pointed. Like a pick. And we're going to push that through and it should snap into place. You'll feel that snap. Now, you need to look at this Well, I need to look at this under the magnifying glass, so I'm doing that now. You can't see the magnifying glass, but I'm going to go ahead and push that sucker down in there because I feel like it's not all the way, and it wasn't. It is now. I'm going to double check that because I'm old and I can't see nothing. I'm just going to get this wrist pin out. It was good. I checked it under the magnifying glass. I put the other wrist pin in the same way. The other wrist pin, you got to get started and kind of work it around. Be real gentle with it. Your gasket should line up. I don't like to put grease on this. This part's gonna be a little tricky for you. Your gasket is directional, so it's only gonna fit one way. You can put it on a bunch of different ways, like I'm showing you. You'll get it right. Once you get it right, you want to squeeze the piston ring with the spot where the pin is together. And what you want to do is you want to start 180 degrees from that. Once you kind of get that slid over, it'll just slide right in. The gasket's going to want to jump to the magnet, so you're going to have some issues with that. You just kind of wiggle this thing around. What you want to do is get that gasket down in there and in place. This is a little tricky. It's not going to want to stay right there. If you can get it up onto the cylinder and kind of hold it with your fingers in between, it's the easiest way to do it. Once you get it down on there, you don't know if it's really lined up or not. You take just about anything and get in those holes, those screw holes, and go ahead and wiggle those. Before you do this, you should oil all these screw holes on this cylinder so that your bolts go in, because it will come dry. I'm going to go ahead and line my gasket up. And then we're going to need, again, it's kind of tricky doing this on video. I'm going to get the towel to kind of hold this up. I'm going to Loctite my bolt to blue Loctite so that they don't vibrate loose. Cutting with a dull chain is a good way to walk bolts out of your saw. Everything looks good. Make sure you're facing the right direction. This is upside down, this is right side up. Okay? I'll make sure that cylinder's on there right. I bought these saws before where someone rebuilt it and had the piston in backwards. Not hard to do. Sounds stupid, it's not hard to do. There is an arrow on the piston that points towards the exhaust. So just orientate yourself to it when you put the piston on. I'm going to go ahead and get these bolts in here. I like to do a cross pattern. These are going to be tighter than normal. I'm getting a phone call, looks like. We're going to ignore that. Make sure I get the right size, the 27, and I'm going to snug these down, all of them. Then once they're all in and snug down, I'm going to go and I'm going to crank them down. Just good and tight, maybe an eighth of a turn past tight. And there you go. It's in. I suggest turning the flywheel a little bit. Make sure that you are free. Your coil's going to go there when we go back in. Is it going there? If you're not sure, you'll flip this motor around. Look, you got the two screw holes on the engine there. Line those up. It's going to want to stick to it. That's normal. Get those lined up. If you're not sure what you're doing, or you're getting frustrated, take a little break. You can always grab the saw if you're not sure and look at your orientation. So this is my orientation here. This is going to have to go on. We know it sits there. The coil goes over. If you're not sure, there it is. That looks pretty good. And then we're just going to go ahead and we're going to drop it in. Make sure that your coil is plugged in. It has like a little holder on it that holds it onto the cylinder, and it should slide right in. Okay, once you get that slid in, you just want to hold it with your hand if you can, or put something underneath it. We're going to start our motor mounts. I like to clean them out with a Q-tip, make sure everything's nice and clean. This one's dirty on the housing, which is not a big deal, but this is our ground. I want to clean it. I'm going to do it again with a little alcohol, make sure there's no grease. So I want a good ground here. This is going against the plastic, so it's not really a big deal. Alright, what do we got going on here? Oh, we put our tab back in for the ground. Just a little bit of Loctite, blue Loctite on there. Get it started. Now I'm just going to snug this down this time. Get it snug. I'm using hand wrenches so you guys can see this. Normally I use power tools, but I don't have to worry about the camera being in the way. Try to speed this up a little bit for you here. That's just snug. not all the way tightened. Go ahead and do the bottom one. A little more Loctite. That on the bolt real nice. I got a little bit left over. I'll wipe it on the table. I should be able to hand screw this. Get it started. Once we get it tight, we'll go ahead and we'll snug that bad boy up. Motor should pull into place. Okay, snug those up real good. Alright, what are we doing next here? What do we want? There's a bunch of different directions you can go. Let's go ahead and put the oil pump back in. Make sure it's clean. Take your Q-tip, make sure it's clean. Go ahead and grab your plugs out, because we wash this with the pressure washer. We don't want to get water in those lines or more debris. Line your pump up. There's only one way you can go. See, backwards, backwards. There we go. Like a puzzle. Go ahead and pop your line on. There's no clip here. If you got fat fingers, just struggle a little bit. Eventually you'll get it. Put that guy on. You'll stretch this a little bit to get it over. Don't be scared. Get this line out of the way. Pop that bad boy over. Slide this other line on. I'm going to go ahead and tiny bit of Loctite on that. Don't come loose. Move the pump into place. We're going to go ahead and we're going to tighten this bad boy down so it's not moving around on us. Whoop. Alright. Now we're going to connect this other line. Just put it on there, make sure it's on there real good. Alright, what are we doing next? Put that on there to keep debris out. We'll end up having to take that back off, but that's okay. Put our pulse line back on, which is probably going to end up having to come off again. I'm going to give it a little clean, even though I washed it out. Put that on. We'll have to take that back off a little bit. We're going to put that on so it's out of our way. Alright, now I want to come over here and get that plastic piece. I grabbed the wrong piece. Where's that plastic? There it is. We can go and lift our coil off. Oop, get this plastic piece lined up. It's going to go under our coil against the cylinder head. It's kind of tricky with this camera in the way. And get that thing all lined up. When you get this down on here, it's going to want to stick to the flywheel. You're going to have to roll this flywheel around to where the magnet is, where the pickup is for your spark. So once you get this lined up, I don't know what this problem here is. These are always tight too. Don't freak out. Give them a little Loctite so they don't vibrate out. Just a little bit. You ain't trying to get crazy. We'll put that there. I'll get it later. I'm not put too much. I just like to. A lot of times I like to hand start stuff to make sure I don't strip it. Sometimes you can't go very far with your hand tightening, but that's fine. Alright, we're going to grab the other screw. I don't see it. Alright, it is this one. Sometimes you'll second guess yourself. Give me that stuff off the table. And we'll get this other screw in. I took it out because I wasn't sure it was so tight going in, and I put those two down. I look at all the other screws and I go, yep, I don't see any other two screws it could be. This is one good way to figure out if you're not sure on your screws and you have a basket case. So these are the screws. Like I said, they're going to feel tight, especially in a new cylinder head. So we'll get the wrench out and we'll drive these down in. Not driving them all the way. We're going to need some place so we can put something in between here to get ourselves the proper gap. There are tools for this. You can use a business card, anything that's about the thickness of a dime. I grabbed my machinist rule, I stuck it in there on an angle, and then I'm going to crank these bad boys down. See, I wasn't very tight. Now I am. I'm going to pull our machinist rule out, make sure we spin. We do. I'm going to bring my wire back around. We're going to plug that bad boy back in. Push it down in there. Don't push it down in there with a pick. You don't put holes in this. These lines rot pretty easy. On this saw, I did have to do a repair on those. If your saw's really old, just buy new wires. Never hurts. When you're in a tree with this thing, you'll be pissed if it doesn't want to shut off and you have problems. You get angry and then you end up busting your saw up. Take your time, work it in there. Alright, now your muffler should just slide in. It's going to feel like it kind of doesn't, and it's just going to stop right there. That's okay. Put pressure against the body. You see those little tabs? They're going to have to be moved in. There's no gasket. Flip those over. Tiny bit of Loctite. I love this stuff. If you're not using this stuff, you're crazy. Don't use red on small bolts, though. See if you can see down in there. You can kind of see where to line it up. Once you get it in its spot, go ahead and put these in the holes. Finger tight to get it started. Okay, and we'll do the other one. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to tighten these down. We're done with these. Get it real snug and then go like 1/8 of an inch. Tighten it down, get it snug, go 1/8 of an inch. Get some of this out of our way and clean our bench up a little bit. We're done with that. Alright, where do you guys want to go? Should we go to the side? Probably have to do the top next. I'm doing a voiceover, so we'll see what I did. Alright, we're going with the intake. Gotta be a new intake. For me, it's a new intake. For you, you can see it can only go one way. Okay, pop that bad boy down in here. These screws are going to be tight. You're going to feel it. You're going to know. You're going to be like, damn. Alright, those are our machine thread screws. Once again, tiny little bit of Loctite. Got too much on there, so I'll just rub these two screws together. Alright, I put those in. And I also put this mount in. I had to do a trim. I had to go to my toolbox, so... Next thing we're going to do, we're going to spray this with a little silicone because it's much easier to get these things to pop through the housing. A little bit of silicone, I probably use too much. You don't need that much. And what we're going to do is we're just going to line this up. It's going to be tricky for me to show you this, but I'm going to do my best. The main intake has an ear on it that lines up. And what you're going to want to do is you want to reach in there with your pliers. Or whatever you got, hemostats, whatever, and grab that ear and pull this thing through. Okay, try to line up like it's bunched. See how it's bunched up, like it's got pressure on it? Pull that sucker through. Wiggle it around, it'll come through. Once you get it through a little bit, go ahead and get more of a grip. You can go around the edges, almost like a tire, how you pull a tire through. Be gentle, don't pinch too hard. And just pop that rubber piece through, and it'll come through. That silicone's going to really help it pop through. There it is. Alright, that looks good. Make sure you're lined up properly. That ear should be in. It should fit pretty comfortably. Next thing we're going to do is our tank vent and our fuel line. Just grab those, stick the pliers in the holes, grab them, and give it a little tug and wiggle, and they'll pop right into place. Now this other one's a little tricky. It's got like a tab on the top of it. And if you can line it up just right where you can see that tab, you can kind of get your pliers in there and just grab that little tab. And when you pull it through, it's not going to kind of come through. You're going to have to pull it up and through. Now once I get a little bit on there, I'm going to grab a little bit more, and I pulled it up and see how it popped right into place. So our line's connected. I'm going to put my mount in, my anti-vibration handle, and a mount. This is a very specific bolt. It's the only one in this package of bolts that looks this way. Go ahead and tighten that up. Give me a little, make it a little bit more rigid for me and a little easier to work with when we go to build the handle. Get that done. You guys happy I'm wearing a shirt today so you don't have to see my belly? Alright, where are we at? Oh, upside down handle, that's going to be fun. Let's not do that. There we go. Yeah. These are pretty basic. You'll see when you get them into place, they're going to want to go where they go. The top one with the yellow, what you want to do is you want to line it up, and then you'll see where that clip, where the wire actually clips to the metal housing there. That'll have a little spot in the handle that it slides into. Both of them do. When you do it, you can see I'm fumbling around. I'm trying to figure out exactly which wire goes where. I think the black one goes in first and then the yellow one, sorry. These often get damaged and cause problems. If you're doing a rebuild on a saw that's over 6 years old, I suggest you just buy these. They're not very much. Buy new ones. This is my buddy's saw, so I'm just going to reuse these. I'm not charging them any labor. And then when I put the saw back together, it didn't work. I ended up having to take this whole thing back apart, this handle, and fix the wire where it was broken. So anti-vibration mount or front handle mount. And it's going to slide into place, and it's got a little clip on it that holds in those wires in there, and you'll see that. And it snaps into the handle. It doesn't really snap in, it just kind of goes into place. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to screw this screw in. Finger tight here. So it's holding in place. What the heck? We're just going to screw it in apparently. Let's go. Alright, that's done. Slowly making progress. Looking like a saw again. Here's the part probably everybody hates. Besides the piston, this part can rack your brain, man. It really can. So, I'll try to do this. I got my hand on a bag. We're going to dump out all the stuff like it just came out of a box. As I pressure washed everything, it all came apart. I thought I cut this piece out, but apparently I didn't. I'm going to grab my side handle. We're going to go ahead and we're going to attach the side handle. That kind of slides into a groove. Alright. Put a screw in it. Do I put a screw in it yet? Doesn't really matter. You can, you can't. Yep. Get that. Now we're going to do it by hand. There we go. Screw this in. That top handle screw, once you get this one in, you want to screw that in tight. It will come loose and it will cause problems in your handle. You'll see when you screw the top one in. Get this bottom one in. I feel like I keep having the wrong size. Get that some junk off of there. Yeah. Alright. That sucker's in. Now. See that gap right there? Push that gap in. Make sure it's tight. This is that big heavy screw we talked about before. Bigger than most of them. That's our handle screw. We're going to go ahead and screw this thing all the way down. It's going to make our handle, our top handle assembly more rigid, so that as we're putting this thing together, it's not moving around. Again, this is my first video, so I'm not speeding up a bunch of this stuff and getting all crazy with transitions. This is how you're getting it. Don't forget to buy some soap from me. You'll love it. Alright. Come on, man. Turn this thing faster. Get this video moving. Alright, make sure it's tight. Look at your gap when you're done. Sometimes it'll feel tight, but it'll kind of be wedged. And go ahead and give yourself a wiggle. Double check it. Alright, what's next? Trying to get this thing propped up so we can see it, so you can see it. It's going to be real tricky to build this sideways for me, but I'm going to do my best for you guys. Alright. So now if you had this in a box, this spring, this long one's going to be loose. You only have one spring up here. Let's go ahead. I normally like to put this guy in, But you can easily bump this and knock this guy out. Clean your ground posts in here, your little metal pieces. Wipe them off, make sure they're real clean. This hole's a little tricky, it's offset. So you want to take a pick and you want to push back those wires and pop it in that little hole, and it'll just sit right in. Next thing we want to do is we want to get this guy. Now this guy's got the spring on it, and this is where it can be tricky. So you kind of got to want to line this up to where it's going to go. There's a post that this slides over, and you can put it on there and look and see that that's not right. There we go. See how it just snapped right down in there? So we know the direction of that. Now we know this spring's got to go on, and it's got to lift towards the top. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take this back out. Oh, it's off camera, but you put it right around that inside of that post, and you'll see it's got a little elbow that clips on to the edge of that upper piece. And then just bend this down, put it in the hole, and it'll sit there on its own. No big deal. Now we got to compress that spring down with our lock here, and you can see on the back side it slides in. Kind of put it on the end of it, bring it back, and then what you're going to want to do is try to find the spot where it goes. You're going to need to most likely push your throttle just a hair to get those to line up. It'll pop right in. Got this back piece for our linkage. This is going to be our linkage transition for the carburetor and our carburetor linkage. Those two go together. There's multiple different ways to do this, and I'm just trying to think of the easiest way to do this for you guys to see it. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to put this in. Get that set in place, because we're going to have to hook this linkage up. You only got one linkage, you can only go one direction. If you put it in, it doesn't look right. You put it in, see, it doesn't look right. Take it back out, flip it around. Pretty simple, 50-50 shot. You'll put it in there, it'll look right. And then you can always give it a real easy test. Keep your thumb on it and give it a little test. There you go. So everything's moving, everything's good in the handle thus so far. So before we bump anything and mess anything up, let's go ahead and put our handle back on. Now snap that bad boy in. Make sure you don't snap it into your wires. They should be clear of the handle. It'll snap right back on. I give it some tests, the lock and everything, the switch up front. Everything's good. I'll go ahead and get my bolts. There's no Loctite on these. These are going to plastic. Make sure you have the right size. I believe these are T25s. I'll go ahead and put those in, and I'll grab my wrench. Normally I use an electric drill to do this, but for you guys, you get the slow turn, because this is how you know you should do it at home. If you're using electric tools to put these back together, you're guaranteed to strip stuff, so don't even bother. Unless you have really good experience or some kind of torque adjustment on your machine that you're using. Okay, we get those tightened down. We got some linkage, we got the carburetor. What are we going to do next? Want to do the carburetor? See what Tommy goes for. Alright, we're going to put our primer ball back in. It's got a notch on it, and you'll see it. That's got to line up, so you don't have to worry about which way it goes. These sometimes are a pain to get in and lock in. Just take your time. Get it in there. You should be putting a new one in. You're rebuilding your saw. I need a towel, apparently, so that we can get this at the right angle. Clear my bench up a little bit. I want you guys to be able to see this. Try to get my light lined up here. Okay. Alright. What are we gonna do? Carburetor. Pull your vent off. Make sure it's clean. It's gonna have a nipple on it. That nipple is gonna go on one side. You have two holes back there. It's going to go on the inside one. Your carburetor is going to go on the outside. Make sure your vent's clean. If you're not sure, stick it to your mouth and suck in. If it sucks in, you're good. Go ahead and pop that in. It's going to be a little tricky because it's got a piece at the bottom, like a rubber piece at the bottom that holds it in place. You got to kind of get it in there. You got to really work it in there and then get it down into place. And you'll see, it'll go. If you need to, spray it with a little bit of silicone. I generally don't. These normally go into place pretty easy. Now we gotta get our linkage. When you do this, say you got this out of a box, you don't know which way it goes, line your carburetor up. You know where your adjustments are. Those go to the right. So you kind of want to picture this in there. And if you can't picture it in there, that's fine. Hook it in there. Can only go 4 different ways, right? See that? That's in the middle of the intake. No way. Flip it around the other side. You know it's not going to work that way because it's going to be on the other side. So we'll take this side. Oh, we'll take this side and we're going to hook it in from the right. And when we put it through the loop, it'll just fall right into place. You see that? You can't even hardly see it in the video. It's tucked down in there. That's where we want it. Now I'm going to take our carburetor and grab our pick or screwdriver, whatever you got. Make sure this thing is clean, everybody. I'm going to grab my pick and get the junk off of it. I reach back in there. I'm going to lift my linkage out. I'm going to turn the carburetor. I'm going to hook it onto that bottom mount. And then I'm going to come over here. I'm going to line this up. Now there's a hole down in there it's got to go in to feed the carburetor, obviously. And it should almost line itself up. Once you get it lined up, you want to push it in. When you go to push it in, your vent's going to be in the way. You're going to have to slide that down to get it in. And it should pop right over. It's going to feel odd because it's not like perfectly straight. It's going to mess with you a little bit. But what you want to do is when you get it where you think it's supposed to be, go ahead and give your throttle a couple pumps. See how it doesn't look like it's kind of like it's not fitting in there. I need to make sure, but it's just me in my head thinking it's not right. It is. I know because I've watched this video before. Alright, that went in. We put our back on and all that stuff. When you're putting your choke in, just take note whether it's choked or not. I put that back in. You know how to put the air filter and stuff back on. Checking everything. Everything works good. I'm going to come back over to the side because we're not done here. I'm going to lift off our oil gear. I'm going to grab our shroud piece. Now if you just washed this hole here that this snaps into, if it's got any water in it, it's not going to snap in right. Go ahead and line up your front. You'll see there's a groove. Slide it in that groove and it'll kind of pop in. It's got tabs on it. You can line these tabs up and just pop it in. And that's as good as you're going to get. A lot of times these things don't go back together that great. This plastic gets hot and kind of gets warpy. Go ahead and take your screw. Make sure you got the right size. This extension's starting to annoy me on this thing, but whatever. Put our screw in. This is going to hold our bottom mount together as well. Our AV mount. Go ahead and tighten that up. We're almost there, guys. Get you some goat soap. I wash my hair with that soap. I haven't used shampoo and conditioner for like 4 years. And I've got hair. Alright, slide your oil gear on, turn it, make sure it's right in the right place. I've already put the plug in, looks like. Got deleted out the trim. I'm going to add a little assembly lube to this, not much. You can use anti-seize, you can pretty much use whatever you want. Slide it down on there. Now when you put your sprocket back down on, it's got to fit in between these grooves. Oh, mine went right in. But you'll feel it. And then it's going to be counterclockwise. I don't think my plug's in. Alright. Plug wasn't in. But I took my impact and I tightened it down, I think. Oh, I didn't have enough compression. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to hand tighten this in, I think. See what we do here. Alright. And now we got a little bit of compression. We can give it a little bump. You ain't got to get crazy on this clutch, but you definitely don't want it coming apart when you're cutting. And you got to tighten your plug back down, which I don't know if I'm going to do that on camera or not. Yep, I did. There you go. A little edit work. We're going to put our boot back on. And we're pretty much done. We got to snap our cover. When you snap this cover in, put these two in first. Make sure they're lined up. And just pop the other two down in. The one on the front corner is going to be the one that goes over and not under. Okay? Here you go, man. You're ready. 50 to 1 or 40 to 1 for a couple tanks on your break-in. And you should be good. Thanks for watching my video. I have ms150 and 151 top ends, including gasket, for sale on my eBay. Links below. Your purchase helps us grow. Try to read all your comments. Feel free to make fun of me in them. Have a great day.